Any other year, you would be seeing Leslie Hales painting right here. She is painting the people of Lewes. They are many recognisable faces. Today, we're speaking to one of these people behind the paintings, Grace Gasson, who has opened her own independent funeral directory in Ringmer.
Well, Leslie approached me when she was doing the portrait. She was talking about familiar faces in the town, and unfortunately I have one of those. It's not often wanted, but it's needed from time to time, so yeah, I was classed as a familiar face and recognisable, and she asked if she could take a photograph and then paint from the photograph, which is what she did. Leslie painted me when I worked for Cooper & Son in Lewes, and yeah, the picture hung on the wall there, so when I left Cooper's, her portrait of me came with me. So it felt right, rather than leaving it there for others to look at, for it to come here. So yes, it now hangs on my wall here. In February, March time, the area was quite badly affected by COVID. Unfortunately, people who were very vulnerable, so older people, care homes, found that journey quite difficult, and unfortunately some weren't able to fight it. So yes, that time has been quite difficult, especially with the restrictions that have been involved as well. So yeah, it's not been a great year. I'll be pleased to see the end of this one. Just trying to make things a bit easier. You never make it better, but to try and support somebody and make them feel that they've had the opportunity to do things the way that they would like to, and it's a true reflection of the person that we're all caring for. That's the most important thing to me. When I was 16, I wanted to do forensic science, and I was offered the opportunity to do work experience in year 9 at school, and my parents suggested that I went to work or have some experience with the local funeral directors, which I did in Cooper & Son in Uckfield, and something just clicked in the week that I was there. I don't really understand it. I wouldn't really say it was a calling. It wasn't religious, but it's certainly something clicked, and I felt that's what I wanted to do. So I left school at 16 and started with them then. This was something I've always wanted to do, to have my own business, and the timing was just right. So I came out to Ringmer. I wanted to stay in Lewes, but it's very difficult shop sizes, and it's very quirky and very beautiful, but not very practical from my side of things. So Ringmer's a little bit quieter, a little less imposing, and a bit more private for people, so I came out here. Very supportive family is quite key for me. It's especially in this role. It's a bit like being a doctor or a vicar or something. You have to have a good family behind you to support you when this is quite a vocation. It's 24 hours, so I'm on call 365 days a year in the evening if somebody passes away. So I was actually on maternity leave when I started business planning, and decided that I was unfortunately going to make a move from the company I was with. And most of what you see in here is either from my own home, Gumtree, anywhere, charity shop, flea market, which we have oodles of in Lewes, and all put together. So I had to be quite mindful. It's my kind of style anyway. I'm quite an eclectic person, so it's all come from all over the place. I opened the office with no staff, just myself, so I did everything other than driving the vehicles and obviously needing gentlemen to help me on the actual day of the funeral. But I ran the office. I had to use an answer phone system to look after the phones while I was out with the family conducting funerals, and then I'd come back and pick all the answer phone messages up. And then after about 3 months, I realised that actually I was very grateful. A lot of families I'd cared for before came to find me here, and I was able to have a member of staff. So after 3 months, I employed my colleague, and she's been with me since then. So yeah, it's a bit of a rocky road to begin with, lots of risk taking and chances, and a lot of effort, a lot of energy. My husband painted everything. A friend of ours did put all the sub wall up and made it feel the way it is. So it's a lot of hard work, but we literally built it sort of from the ground up. So yeah, a lot of love's gone into it. I think it's just because then I had the opportunity to look at everything, every element within the business. So from the stationery that I send my letters on, which are obviously quite important, quite special letters. People tend to keep the letters that I send, and they're not the sort of throwaway documents. So I could look at all of how my logo was and how I presented my office to make it feel more homely. I could choose what colour went on the wall and which sofas I had in the office. So all of those things to me are really important when you're caring for families, that they feel comfortable and they feel welcome. Oh, I have no idea what my normal day is going to be. So sometimes I'll have appointments planned in the diary of families that I'm going to meet with, but that can change within a heartbeat. So I can go out and look for, probably a wrong sense of word there actually, heartbeat might not be the right word. It can change. So I'll go out onto a funeral, and then by the time I come back I might have another appointment that's been booked in while I've been out. So I'll go out on funerals, I'll go to local churchyards and care for people's ashes, burying people's ashes, all sorts. I can be going to deliver paperwork, going to pick up, well now my role's completely different because I do the business side too, so all the invoicing and all of those sorts of things. So looking at my website, all sorts. So it's quite a varied day. The days go quickly. You know, there's lots of people that are involved in what I do. They're not always seen, or they might be only seen for a few minutes, but they're just as important, and they make the whole structure and make it all work.